Alright guys, my name is Goblin and today we're having another crack at counting down some of the most overpowered leveling items in World of Warcraft. In my last video a lot of people gave me criticism that my videos just simply weren't overpowered enough, and that's kind of fair enough. So in this video I'm really going to town. I don't care whether these items are easy to obtain or not, I don't care if they're popular or not, these are going to be the most overpowered leveling items in Classic WoW. A lot of you left basically comments on my last video for suggestions of items that should be overpowered and should have been on the list, and a lot of them are on this list, so I do really appreciate you guys helping me out basically with this video. And just before we jump in guys, do be sure to follow me on Twitch, because when Classic launches I will be moving over to Twitch and streaming quite a lot. So anyway, let's jump in. The first item on this list, not all the items on this list are going to be really difficult to obtain, some of them are actually quite easy to obtain, but I am featuring pretty difficult rare items, you know, just for the fun of it really, because these items are seriously overpowered and they are worth mentioning. So the first one I have for you is the Bow of Searing Arrows. We talked recently about why static damage on weapons is so ridiculously useful, and it's because that extra elemental damage will completely ignore armour. And overall it just massively adds to your DPS. So the Bow of Searing Arrows is a rare BOE which you'll very rarely find, but it is literally probably one of the best items until you obtain the bow from Marudon in the late level kind of 50ish, so yeah, it'll last a good 20 levels nearly. Next we have an all-time favourite, which is the Whirlwind Axe. The reason why this one is so overpowered is because if you have friends, you can literally take this quest and complete it at level 30, and the weapon reward is basically a level 45 axe. It's competitive in the mid-level 40s, and you can basically on the island in the Barrens. And you know, you have to go and collect some reagents from the elementals in the Irathi Highlands, which are elites. It is quite difficult to kill them, so again you will need a friend, and then eventually you kill a boss, and then you will get the Whirlwind Axe, which is seriously overpowered. You might be able to kill the elementals on your own if you master hamstring kiting, so yeah, be sure to look that one up. But if you have no friends, there is another option. You can just go for the Bone Biter, which is from the Name of the Light quest, which is completed by basically killing some bosses in a Scarlet Monastery. So if you want to do a Scarlet Monastery run instead of kill the boss in Scarlet Monastery, you can do that to get the other option, which is still quite strong, but you will have to wait longer for you to get that item. So the third item on this list is the Triprunner Dungaress. Now this is probably one of the longest lasting items in the game. They're the best in slot for Rogue and Druid, basically until you get Devil Saw leggings, which, you know, when the server launches you'll be waiting quite a while to get those items. It just has a ridiculously high agility buff for the level. It's just ridiculous, like 18 agility. That will literally last you to level 60, right, unless you're lucky with some other item. The quest will either be called Rig Wars for the Horde, which you can get from Orgrimmar, and then you've got the Grand Betrayal, which you get for the Alliance, and you can obtain it in Ironforge, basically in Tinkertown. This quest will take you into Nomeron, you kill some bosses on Nomeron, I think you kill the last boss actually, and there you go, then you get the quest item. This will last you for ages. The fourth item on this list is actually two items. I simply put down the Nifty Pocket Watch and Skull of Impending Doom, which are two items that you can obtain in the Badlands. Just basically two quest chains that you'll have to do, and the reason why they're on this list is because of their speed increase advantage. Say for instance you're in a cave, you clear a cave, you need to get out the cave, you can use the speed advantages of these two items. One of them is an item off-hand item, and one of them is a trinket, so you just need to swap them whenever you need them and use them. And it basically is a massive time save because you can just run around faster when you're indoors. It will start with a quest chain in the Badlands, but it will take you to Alderman. The Skull of Impending Doom one will take you to Alderman, but you won't actually have to go all the way into Alderman, but you will need a group to kill the mobs outside, because the quest item is actually outside the instance, but kind of near the entrance portal. So the fourth item on this list is another all-time favourite, that is the Gravestone Scepter. One of the longest lasting weapons in the game, pretty similar to the Triprunner Dungaress. You get this from the Black Fathom Depths quest, which is either going to be obtained, well, it's called Black Fathom Villainy. It's either obtained from Darnassus or Thunderbluff. You basically go into Black Fathom Depths, complete the quest, and then you get this ridiculously overpowered wand, which is best in slot for every caster for a very long time. While we're talking about wands, for the fifth item we have the low level wands, right, which are pretty easy to obtain from the auction house, or you can craft them yourself, and these are ridiculously overpowered in the lower levels. Because you can get them so early if you're lucky, basically the damage is so ridiculous you'll probably end up out damaging your natural ability to cast spells. So For instance, you probably go up to a mob, you pop your dots on, and then you start casting Shadow Bolt or Smite or something. It's actually probably better to just use the wand rather than cast Shadow Bolt. You will literally out DPS yourself by using a wand, so definitely try and pick these items up as early as you can. The 6th item on this list is the glowing Brightwood staff. And this item, you know, is another one of these extremely rare BOE items that you probably never see, but you know, you might get lucky at some point. You can get this at level 49, and it will literally last you until you're basically raiding, because some people like to keep this item because of that really high intellect buff on the staff, because some healers kind of struggle with kind of fight momentum when it comes to raiding, so they might opt to get this staff because of their intellect stat is just a little bit low and the mana pool is pretty low. So yeah, this is ridiculously overpowered. The next item we have is the Corpse Maker, which is dropped from Overlord Ramtusk. I think it's one of the first few bosses in RFK. And this is probably one of the best in slot items for Enhancement Shaman and Paladin and kind of Warrior, but we obviously know that Warriors can replace this pretty quickly with a Whirlwind Axe. But nonetheless, it's very useful, especially around this time where you get the Wind Fury weapon proc as well, weapon buff. So yeah, and this will last you, you know, a good 10 levels. Here we have the Blazewind Breastplate, which is another best in slot rogue item, probably until you start basically farming dungeons at level 60, unless you do dungeons before you hit 60. Again, it's that ridiculous high agility buff, pretty similar to the pants that we talked about earlier. This quest is basically started by a quest line in Badlands, Broken Alliances, or Tremors of the Earth, something like that. It's both obtainable by Alliance and the Horde, so yeah. The last item we have is the Rune of a Guard Captain. It doesn't tell me when you obtain this, but I'm pretty sure it's about level 50-ish. You basically have flat line attack power bonus, which is great for any melee DPS, and you also have that cheeky hit chance, which is more than, I think it's an underappreciated stat value in the lower levels, particularly when you're taking down higher level mobs than you, because it is quite useful. And this item is not pre-raid based, but some people actually keep this item when they're raiding, just simply because they have low hit chance and they need to keep that hit chance. So definitely worth getting this one, because you know, if you have no hit chance, this would definitely help you out in raids. So that's pretty much where I'm going to end the video, guys. Hope you enjoyed this improved list of overpowered leveling items. If you have any other suggestions for overpowered leveling items, leave them in the comment section below. Maybe we have enough to even make a new video, or maybe it's like a top 5. But anyway, my name is Impending, until my next video. Ciao.